My computer. Cool. All right, so getting right to it. As usual, let's see. We're going to be starting with our foam rolling. So at this point, we've pretty much hit all the different types of areas we would be hitting. So we'll just be going over it, like, different body parts we've already done. If you want to hit stuff other than what I'm hitting, that's completely fine. If you're feeling something that you really want to hit and we're not getting to it, we're going to be going through the calves today, the hamstrings, quads, and then we're going to hit the IT band and a little bit up on our hip. So if you want to hit some different areas, feel free. So starting from the bottom, we'll work our way up. We're going to hit the calves to start. As we go week to week, and you've probably hit these body parts a few times already, maybe even on your own, try to add more weight, sink into them a little deeper. You'll notice my other foot is completely up in the air right now. So all my weight is on my hands and my calf. So always we're hitting all sides of the muscle, all the way up, all the way down. Rotate as you're going. Get a few more on this side. And go ahead and switch to the other side if you already have it. You really want to add some weight, cross that leg over, put some additional pressure. And then obviously if you have different foam rollers, you can start to get a little more dense with those. The one I'm using is pretty much a hard plastic. So you can't really get much harder than this. Alrighty, so now we're just gonna move up, same position. We're just going to our hamstrings now. So from the bottom of our knee up to right below our butt area, sticking in there. Again, you can cross your legs over if you want to add a little more weight, or just rest the leg on the ground. You could do both hamstrings at one time. I like to do one at a time though. Just focus on breathing here. Aim for about 8 to 10 rolls, each muscle group, each side. All righty, I'm switching. Other side now. Okay, we're going right between our glute and our knee, focusing on that hamstring area. We'll be stretching the hamstrings in our next segment. So definitely sink into these. All right. And then lastly, actually, we're going to go 2 more here. We're going to go quads and then our hip / IT band. So now we're going to come over to our stomach, lay that foam roller right underneath one of your knees or above your knee. We're going to go from just above the knee up into the hip. We focus past weeks on the hip flexor. You can go up in that area if you would like, but I'm focusing more on the quad, so more like the belly of the muscle, right in the middle. All right, he's hitting that other side now. Get yourself lined up comfortably. Again, it's kind of up to you. No really right or wrong way, just whatever is comfortable and allows you to hit that muscle. Okay, and then last but not least, we're hitting that IT band and then going up towards our hips. So we're just gonna lay sideways on this foam roller. I'm gonna focus mainly on my hip area, but if you would like, you can go all the way down along the side of your leg. Alrighty, and then finishing off on the other side here. This area can be real sensitive. It's a small area up in your hip. All righty, and that is it for the foam rolling. Hopefully feeling good. We're gonna move on to our first stretch, which is gonna be our 90-90 stretch. So for this, choose a side. I'm gonna start with my left leg in front, having it at 90 degrees bent at the knee, and then at the ankle, I'm also 90 degrees. My right leg gonna come behind me, put it at 90. So 90 in the front, 90 in the back. From here, hands on either side of your front leg. And I'm gonna try to not necessarily get low, but I'm gonna try to reach forward. So I'm reaching forward over my shin. You should automatically feel a stretch turn on here on your left hip if you have your left leg forward. If you have your right leg forward, you're gonna feel that in the front right hip. So we're just breathing here. Each exhale, try to reach a little farther forward. Feel that stretch a little deeper. Get about 5 to 6 full inhales and exhales. And then once you get that, we're gonna reset in the center. So keep your legs just how they are. This time we're gonna put our hands behind us. If you can, put your palms on the ground, that's fine. If your fingertips are touching, that's okay. From here, what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna turn and try to get my shoulders to face my back heel. And I'm also turning my neck and I'm looking at my heel with my eyes. I'm keeping my knees though, they're glued to the floor, and I'm almost imagining I'm spreading the floor apart. You should now be feeling a stretch here on your internal rotators in your hip. And this is on the right side we're focusing on. Same thing, we're gonna go for 5 to 6 here. 5 to 6 breaths. Once you got that, we're going to reset. This time though, right leg in front of us, same exact sequence. I'll let you guys go at your own pace here. Going for 5 to 6 breaths here in the front, then we'll put the hands behind us, 5 to 6 breaths on the back side. Just make sure you're keeping those knees glued to the floor, pressing them in. Keep going for it. I'm about to transition, go into the back now. In order to feel this stretch when we put our hands behind our back, you really have to focus on keeping those knees on the floor. If you just let them come up, you're really not going to feel it as much. All right, moving on to our second stretch. We're going to the Spider-Man. So the 90-90 and the Spider-Man are my two favorite lower body stretches. They kind of hit everything. I mean, I honestly pretty much do these every day for the sake of not getting bored. I change them up in classes, but you really could do the 90-90 stretch and this stretch and kind of hit everything. So push-up position. We're going to go left foot up towards your left hand. So we're already in this position here. You're probably already feeling stretches on the front and back side of your legs. From there, grab your foot with your left hand. Push that knee into your elbow and vice versa. Create tension there. Don't let your knee cave in. Either way. From there, you're just going to drop the opposite knee to the floor, contracting that glute. So now you're feeling a stretch here on the back side of your left leg, on the front side of your right leg. Keep that back nice and straight, chest out. We don't want to round. And we're just breathing. All right, once you get to 5 to 6 breaths, go ahead, reset back to your push-up position. We're gonna go on the opposite side now, same exact thing though. Just bringing that right leg up, hand on top of foot, create that tension. You really don't even need to grab the foot. You could just press in here, hold a fist, whatever's more comfortable for you. And then again, we're dropping the other knee to the floor. The more you squeeze the glute on that opposite side, the more you're gonna feel it in the front here. Being in a seated position all day, this is gonna really open up those hips, those hip flexors, which is what we want. All right, and relax. So we're gonna move on to our third stretch, which we're gonna focus just on our hamstrings. I'm gonna give you two options here. If you have a chair or even like a couch nearby, you can do a standing version. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate that real quick. I'm gonna adjust this just a bit. I'm bringing in a little stool. So all I'm gonna do here is stand up on the stool with one leg like this. You can't quite see my bottom leg. Let me see if I can adjust it. When you get in this position here, you want this bottom foot to be pointing straight ahead. If it starts to turn out, you're kind of compensating. You're not going to feel the stretch as much. So feet straight ahead. And if you're up, depending on how high this is, you're probably already feeling the stretch now. You're just going to lean into it. You don't necessarily even need to reach. Back should be straight, chest out. So that's option one. If you're doing that, you can get started on that. Option two, stay standing, no chair or anything necessary, and just bend your, reach your leg out, slight bend in the other side, and you can kind of reach down here and feel a stretch. So either way, we're hitting that hamstring. Just depends what you're more comfortable with. I'm gonna go for my stool option. 5 to 6 breaths, just like we've been doing. Again, maybe just getting into this position is difficult and just holding it with your bottom leg straight ahead is hard enough. That's fine. All right, I'm gonna hit my other side now before we head on to our last stretch. All right, get that last breath in. If you were using a chair or anything, you can push that to the side. You won't need that anymore. We're gonna go into our last stretch before we finish with some more dynamic movements. So for this last one, feet out wide here. Let me adjust my camera so you can see my upper body a little better. Feet are gonna be out wide. I'm gonna plant both my hands on the floor. So get to a position where you can comfortably do that. Maybe your feet are closer together, that's okay. Maybe they're out wider. Wherever you're comfortable, where you can push those hands into the floor and push the floor away. My arms are extended out. I'm just letting my neck relax. So just hanging out, looking behind me. I'm gonna start with my right side. I'm gonna put my right hand across my body, kind of like I'm hugging myself. We're gonna take a breath in. As we exhale, while I'm still pressing the floor away, I'm gonna rotate and look up to the ceiling. Hold it there, breathe in. As you exhale, try to reach a little further and do that one more time. Breathe in, a little further. Hold that, and then slowly come back to the middle. We're gonna do that sequence 3 times on each side. All right? Go at your own pace here. What we're focusing on here, if you can't already tell, is that mobility in your mid and upper back area. Using our breath to really get to that end range. All right, if you're ready, switch sides. Same thing, make sure you're pushing that floor away actively. Opposite arm hugs across your chest area. Breathe in, exhale, and rotate. See if you notice one side being better than the other. Maybe you want to focus more on one side next time. Last round here. Okay, and relax. So that's it for our mobility stretching circuit. We're going to move on now to some more dynamic stuff. So this first one, we're going to be making a star pattern here. So you're going to get set up in a side plank position from your knees. So make sure that elbow is right underneath your shoulder. Knees are stacked on each other. You'll notice right now my hips aren't forward. They're kind of sitting back. And that's how we're going to start off. We're going to start off, raise up into the half plank position with our hips shooting back. As we raise up, we're going to shoot our hips out and then extend our arm out. And then as we come back, shoot the hips in, bring the arm back. So we're just going to stay here, opening up and closing. When you're ready, go ahead and join me. We're going to go for 8 each side. You're going to be feeling this in your core for sure. Also in your glutes. I got one more. If you're working your way up to 8, go ahead and just finish that before you transition. Same thing now, other side. Take your time getting set up. Make sure that elbow's in the right spot. Knees are stacked comfortably. Again, as we raise up, we shoot the hips forward. Arm comes forward. Got 2 more here. And relax once you get to 8. Give you a few seconds to finish that out. Our next position, we're going to be coming from a push-up plank position. Again, tacking the core a little bit here. We want to engage those glutes, make sure we're not swaying side to side. So get in this push-up position. Make sure your arms aren't too far in front of you, not too far behind, right underneath your shoulder. The wider your feet, the easier this will be. So if they're real close, this is going to be tough. Harder or easier if they're a little further apart. 2 options. You can tap the shoulder or you can just raise the hand. Maybe that's hard enough. But what we want to avoid is this rocking motion. That's a little exaggerated, but we don't want those hips to move at all. Essentially, you should look just like this the entire time. Raising the hand shouldn't change the rest of your body, or at least do your best to prevent it. So let's go for 5 each side, total of 10. Again, play with the width of your feet. Again, you might notice one side's easier than the other. Okay, once you get to 10, done, relax. We got 2 more movements that are gonna kind of build on each other. So this first one is just your traditional bird dog. So we're on our hands and knees, same setup as usual. Make sure those arms are right underneath our shoulders. Make sure you got some room in front of you and behind you. Opposite arm, opposite leg, reaching out, getting as long as possible. When we do this though, imagine you have that glass of water on your tailbone. If you exaggerate it too much and get this dip in your back, no good. Obviously, you don't want to hunch either. So brace those abs before you even go, and you should stay nice and flat as you reach out. Let's go for 4 each. Once you get to 4, relax in the middle for a second, maybe shake those arms out. We'll go on the other side now when you're ready. 4 again. Trying to get as long as possible. Okay, and then to finish it off, we're gonna come up to the feet. And in many ways, this is actually the same movement. It's just we're balancing on one leg. So it's gonna be a single leg deadlift with a reach. So I'm on one foot, my other foot just hovering. I'm gonna get a slight bend at the knee. I'm gonna push my hips back and I'm gonna reach out. I'm balancing on one foot. Again, I'm trying not to open up. I wanna stay nice and straight with my hips. And then we come back up. If that's really difficult, maybe put that chair or something in front of you to guide your hands out at the end that you can grab onto. Really, even just like a finger will help you with your balance. We're gonna go for 4 each. If that's really not working, even with a chair or something, go ahead and then pretty much gonna do the same thing. Just use your back leg as a kickstand. So pushing the hips back, reaching out, trying to put all your weight on that front leg, back leg just a kickstand. Try the harder version first though. Maybe only 2 reps each side if it's real difficult. Trying to get as long as possible again, reaching those arms out, pushing that leg back. If you need to tap that leg down, it's fine. Okay, other side now, finishing it off. Balance on that one foot again. Definitely gonna feel this in those hamstrings too. If you did this with weight, you could obviously make this a strength exercise. Last one coming up for me, take your time. All right, that is a wrap. Hopefully you guys didn't get too sweaty. Hopefully feel a little nice. Got the blood flowing a little bit. That is all for today's regen class.
Awesome, Mike. Thank you very much. I needed that.
Of course, yeah.
Have a great weekend.
You too. See everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.